the lake. We are here at Lake of the Cherokees. I almost said Lake Texoma. We were at Lake Texoma last week. I want to welcome everyone as you're coming on. Drop in the comments where you're coming in from today. And first and foremost, I just want to say to you, happy 4th of July. It's crazy to think that it's 250 years celebrating the birthday of America. So, I have tons of friends that are not from America. Actually, it was crazy. Our neighbors, their little granddaughter is the same age as our little granddaughter. And this is her first time ever in America on 4th of July. Now, they are Americans, but they travel. They've been in Greece, they've been in the Middle East, they've been in Germany. And she was so excited just to be popping fireworks and cooking hot dogs and hamburgers, and such a tradition. So drop in the comments, let me know, what are you doing on this 4th of July? I see you out there. Hello, Kristen. Hi, Amy Cross. Hello, unsupervised moms. I see you have joined. Oh my goodness, what a fun channel. I want to tell you guys, today is a day that I love to celebrate, because to me, it's more than just 4th of July. It's the opportunity that we have with free enterprise and freedom. And it is about freedom. I mean, to me, if I had to list my 7 core values, and I've done a lot of studies where it's like, what is most important to you? And for some people, it's security. And for some people, it's education. And for some people, it's financial, gain. For me, one of the most important keywords to me is freedom, peace of mind, freedom to be with the people that I love, freedom to do what I want and to have choices, and freedom to be able to speak and share and love. And, there are a lot of people who do not have the freedom that we have. And I want to speak to that, because freedom is not free. This month, I actually went with my mom. Her brothers went on an honor flight, which I've seen them before in the airport. Have any of you ever been on an honor flight, or you've seen the honor flights in the airport, where they will say, like, we have X amount of veterans on the plane today. We're going to let them get off first. And I've seen it so many times, and I've always thought how amazing. We took our children to a 2-week tour of Washington, D.C., and then on to New York when they were freshmen, sophomore, or freshman, junior, and senior. And by the end of that vacation, Chance was like, Mom, this is not a vacation. On the very last day, I always had a tour booked 7 a.m. till, 7 at night, 8 at night. And on the very last day there in Washington, D.C., I remember the Red Sox were playing in the World Series, and Chance and Dave wanted to watch it. And I wanted to go to Mount Vernon. I had it all scheduled. Mount Vernon. Do any of you know what Mount Vernon is? Have you ever been there? Chance homeschools his little girl, Lola. And this week he was asking her, do you know who this guy is? Do you know who the first president was? Do you see him on the $1 bill? And I was thinking to myself, I had planned a tour of Mount Vernon to take my children, because I got to go do that my senior year. And honestly, it's better learning to actually go there and stand at the Vietnam Memorial and see Mount Vernon. I went to Ford Theater where Abe Lincoln was shot. There were so many things that I never really thought about in history until I actually went there. And one of my favorite tours we took them on was Pearl Harbor. And 250 years of America is a lot of history. I'm no straight A student. I'm definitely not a history buff. Dave's probably over there sweating like, oh my gosh, she's talking facts, figures, years, and history. Little scary, he says. I don't have to have it all together, right? But the thing is, we went to Pearl Harbor, and we took Dave's mom, not once, but twice. And once when the kids were really little, and once again when they were in like middle school and high school. And I invested in every book. That was 2000 and maybe 6, and then again in 2010. And there were still veterans that were alive and giving the tours. There were people that were there the day that Pearl Harbor was bombed, and they were the ones that were giving the tour. It was so amazing. We also took them to Anne Frank Museum when we were in with Callie and Darian in Germany. We bought all the books on that. There's so much history since the beginning of America in 250 years. And my mom's brothers being on that honor flight, it was really eye-opening to me because, Dave's dad, a Vietnam vet who fought in a helicopter, and his friends literally were like blown out of the helicopter in front of him. He doesn't talk about it a lot, but he is Marine Corps to the core. Like his ring on his phone is the Marine Corps him. His flag in his yard is the Marine Corps. When you think about his pride, it's because freedom isn't free, but it was possible. And whether you believe in all the things that have happened in America or not, one thing that I would say that every American wants, every human wants, is just the ability to take care of their family, to be able to be with the people they love, do the things that they enjoy, and to have peace of mind. And 250 years ago, there was a lot of peace of mind because there wasn't social media, there wasn't internet, there wasn't news, there wasn't a TV. People were literally trading with their neighbor. They were helping their neighbor. They were loving their neighbor. And they were all on this journey that was so different than what we see today. But here's the thing that I thought about when my mom's brothers were on that honor flight. They went together. Two brothers went together. You could look on my Facebook wall and you can see the video of it. It was a one-day thing. They left one night. They landed in Maryland. They went all day to all the monuments, and listening to them talk about what was the most impactful was the very first night when they got there. They said mailroom call, and it took them back to years ago when they didn't see their children born because they were away in a war. They could only write a letter to their family. You couldn't just call. And it was that mail. My Uncle Bill and Uncle Frank both said, "Thank you so much for the letter that you wrote. It really made me feel a certain way," emotional. The other thing that meant the most to them was that the boys showed up at one of the memorials, their sons who were in the military as well, and celebrated that day with them, only for a little bit. They couldn't go on the tour, only for a little bit. But what it made me think about is true freedom is being able to dream, being able to love, being able to go and do and be and have all the things that you dream of. And so I made a couple of notes today because I want to give you 4 or 5 things that I think that you should do to really think about your freedom, because my uncles are 80 years old and Dave's dad is late 70s. And I bet if you were to go and ask them, what does freedom mean to you? What they would talk about is they're proud to be an American, what they fought for, because it wasn't free. And they fought for us to have freedom, but so many people don't have it. So let's talk about that. Freedom isn't free, but it's possible. That's what I want you to think. And a key thought is most people are not lacking the ability to be free. Most people are lacking that ability to actually dream again. Most people have stopped dreaming. Now, 250 years ago, the American dream was to get here, to know that you could be and do and have anything that you dream of. And I see a lot of people from other countries come here with a work ethic that's so much stronger and a sacrifice level that's so much bigger. Like their entire family lives in one house. They work every day, even Sunday, right? Now, I believe you should take off on Sunday, but they came here to accomplish one thing: freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, and freedom to be and do and have whatever it was that was their big, bodacious dream. So I want to ask you, as an audience that's not just in America, but everywhere, if you're watching this, I want to ask you a question. I said most people are not lacking the ability to achieve their goals and dreams. They're lacking the permission to actually dream again. So what does freedom mean to you? I want you to put this in 3 sentences. What does freedom mean to you? For some of you, it's time with your grandchildren. Like last night, watching the fireworks. Every year, Dave and I have been here at the lake, and we've always been on the boat by ourselves watching the fireworks. And every year I would say, you can have the house, you can have the boat, you can have the freedom. But if you're not surrounded by the people you love, it's lonely at the top. It's lonely when you have the success, when you have the money, when you have the big home or the nice car or the motorhome. Don't you want to share it with someone that you love? Now, Dave and I love each other, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's lonely at the top, because you can have the money and the time and the freedom, but maybe the rest of your family has to go to work, or they're not able to be with you. They don't have the finances to travel with you. So time with grandchildren, big one for me. Traveling. I want to go and see, we were talking yesterday, and I'm not going to tell you all my dreams and goals. I want you to think about yours. Everybody was talking about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce getting married in Kansas City, or from Kansas City, getting married in New York City. And I said to Chance and Dave, I remember taking Nana Cindy to Madison Square Gardens and taking a picture in the middle of the street with traffic coming, because that was on her bucket list. I remember taking her to Macy's and shopping Macy's with her. The woman loved shoes. She bought me a pair of shoes. They're 15 years old. I'm never getting rid of them, because they were one of the most expensive pairs of shoes I ever got. They were Coach heels. And she bought them for me, and she said, I'm going to let you wear them here at the meetings, and I'm going to wrap the box under the tree. And, it wasn't how much they cost. It was the fact that we splurged and that we could, and that she gave them to me as a gift. And it made her so happy. Now, today, it's like Cinderella. They won't fit on my foot. I couldn't wear these spike heels if I wanted to, but they're sentimental, because it was a time that we shared together. Talked about taking her to the Mall of America. And it was only because of meetings that we did that I had her along with me. Like, the freedom came because of the industry that we're in. But what is it that's on your list? That's my question. One of my biggest regrets, we never made it to Alcatraz, and she wanted to go. Like, she loved the movie, The Shawshank Redemption. I don't think I've ever watched a full movie like that, but I heard a lot about it, right? It was on her dream list. I want to go do it just because it was her dream and we were going to do it together. I want to see every state in America. How many of you have been to every state? Because I haven't been. I've been a lot of places, but it's airport, hotel, do a meeting, go home, right? I want to go on the cruise where you see all the leaves change in Maine and Rhode Island. I mean, I want to go to Washington. I've never been there. Oregon coast. I've never been there. There's so many places that I would love to go that I've never been. Last year was my first time to Canada. It was beautiful. Evidently, I am not calling Niagara Falls Canada, because I did go to Niagara Falls about 10 years ago for like an hour and then back across the border. But literally went for a week to Canada last year. It was so beautiful. And Germany. And, when I think about the places that we've been, Japan, I don't love to travel international. I'm not going to lie. I don't like those long flights, the way I feel when I get there. But I would love to see other places with my children. I would love to go and do things that are just fun. How many of you have places that you want to go? Drop in the comments a place you want to go, and let's put that on the list. Because listening to my mom's brothers, when they talked about their 80 years of life and that honor flight that they went on, they remembered the sacrifice. They remembered together the pain, the purpose, the passion of being an American soldier and fighting for that freedom. And I think that it's a shame that we have not kept dreaming, and we have let our dreams shrink down to fit whatever our monthly income is. And then we just settle. We're just in a rut. A grave and a rut is the same thing. One has a lid on them, one doesn't. You're either growing or you're dying. And I want you to think of, what does freedom look like for you? No matter what country you're from. Time with grandchildren, traveling, starting a ministry, giving generously, being able to just give and make someone smile. I was getting my hair colored here this week at the lake, and the lady said there was a new little kid that moved to town, and she sure hoped he could get the money to go to church camp. And I literally was like, how much is church camp? And she said, well, he's from a different, what did she call it? Income bracket, and they're less fortunate, and they moved here from Pittsburgh, Kansas, and it's expensive to live here at the lake. And he wasn't a white American. She was saying, like, sometimes his mom would make excuses like why he wasn't able to go, and that even made me want to give more, right? Like, how much is church camp? $300. How many of you would love to give $300 to help a little boy go to church camp? And I don't even know the little boy or the lady cutting my hair, but I was like, if there's a little boy that's 13 years old that wants to go to church camp and money's keeping him from going, pick me to send all the little boys to church camp, right? I want to take my own grandkids to vacation Bible school here this week. And just to have the freedom, the time freedom, the financial freedom to do what you want, retire your spouse, build a business that you always dreamt of, help your parents, to be able to be there for Dave's mom when she needed someone to be her caregiver. I always think, which kid is going to take care of me? And I hope they don't have to, right? I hope that that never happens. But when you think about who would have the time, who would have the money, who would have the freedom, being able to pay cash for something that you want. Yesterday, there was a hot tub at our house in Kansas, and the dumb, stupid thing hasn't worked since I bought it. But I literally said, thank God I paid cash for that, because I would be so mad if I was paying payments and interest on a lemon of a hot tub that never works, right? People get so stressed out because money and interest and payments. What if you could just never, ever have to stress about money again? Ever. Never had to stress about money again. What if you could live with peace of mind that you didn't have to worry? Because that's what most people want. So freedom isn't about having more things. Freedom is about having peace of mind, to me. Drop in the comments, what does freedom mean to you? And now let's switch brains. Part 2 of this. Why do most people not have freedom? People are never free because, number one, they won't live below their means. And Dave and I are huge fans of living below your means. Now, I might be a little too crazy about it. Dave's truck right now, when you turn it off, it doesn't turn off. There's something wrong with the switch. So you got to keep going out there and hitting the clicker, and the tailgate doesn't come down. You have to use the remote because the tailgate's broke. But I'm like, you don't need a new truck. There's so many things we could do better than a new truck. Last month, my transmission went out. We got a new transmission, 130,000 miles. I know that thing will probably go another 100 now. And what's the worst case scenario? The motor blows, so I can get a motor for 3,000 or 4,000. Or most people would say, let's go get a new, what do they call them? Whip. Let's go get a new whip. Let's go get a new Escalade that's $120,000. Like, dude, I can buy a house for that somewhere. Maybe not here at the lake, but in Kansas you could. And you could rent it out. And you could actually make money from an asset, not spend money on a liability that's costing you. And people just don't think that way. People think get, and they don't think give, because they don't have to give. But when they do have to give and they give, it comes back 10x every single time. So what conditions you? School, bills, debt, being in your little routine, fear that you have, being in your comfort zone. People stop dreaming and they just start existing. They're just barely getting by. But you have the ability to choose what you want to do. You have the ability. And if God put the dream in your heart, I guarantee you it's there for a reason. So let's go get that. Here's part 3 of this. And I'm going to stay on track and I'm going to finish early. There's 8. Well, I'm not going to talk to you about the 8 steps. Let's talk about the 4 different kinds of freedom. Number 1, time freedom. And that's your ability to choose where you want to be and what you want to do. Did you glitter your hair? Oh my goodness, guys. Okay, let me lift you up. Do you see this? She wanted this wax pin to make her hair glittery. Tip your head down. And we couldn't find the wax pin. So Dave went and bought her glitter and we did hair wax. She did hair wax. She's so creative. I love your dress. We're red, white, and blue today, aren't we? Yeah. So I'm talking about freedom. What did we do last night? What did we do last night?
Watch fireworks.
Watched fireworks from where?
From the boat.
From the boat. What was it like? Was it amazing? What was your favorite one? The ones you didn't get on video, what did they look like? Well, I think the reason they were your favorite is because you weren't videoing and we were actually enjoying them. But we got them in our memories, right? No, you don't. Okay, so I'm going to stay on track here. Financial freedom is next, but time freedom, let's talk about that. Because time freedom is, can you attend your child's game? Can you take your grandkids to watch fireworks on the lake? Can you take off work on Tuesday? Yesterday was a Friday. I rarely take off, but yesterday I did. I took off the whole day, and it was a good thing because the night before I feel like I was up the whole night and I just needed to rest, right? I just needed to rest. How many of you just need a day that you can rest, where there's no worries? You want to go see your kids? Jump in the car and go see them. Next week, I'm going to go to Kansas City and see my little grandson who's coming up on 2 months old. And I'm going to go back to the Bucket Brigade. I'm going to go back downtown to the homeless park, and I'm going to give. And it's going to be so amazing. It's something that's on my list. I want to be able to have the time freedom to do whatever I want, wherever I want, with whoever I want, and to not have to worry, can I afford this? Can I go? How much is gas? Oh, it went up at the pump. How much is it going to be for the flight? I want you to think, if money and time were no issue, what would you be doing today? How different would it look? Now, can you stay an extra week? I saw Stacy Job, one of our top affiliates, was at Eshkaret for the whole week. She took her whole family. And I know how much that is because Callie got married there. And it is one of the most beautiful places in the world. But her and Jordan yesterday were saying, it's our last day here. We might just put the kids on a plane and stay an extra week. And you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they did because they can. Because they can. What do you dream of that you can't do? And it's mostly because you don't have the time freedom. Now let's go to part 2 of this, financial freedom. Financial freedom means not being owned by a paycheck, not living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. It doesn't mean you have to be a millionaire. Some people could just live below their means and they could do what they wanted. You got to quit getting yourself into survival mode financially and free up some time, free up some panic, free up some, I could make decisions. Here's the reason why most people won't do it. They won't humble themselves and downsize. They won't humble themselves, stay in a mediocre house. They think they got to have the big one, right? I really think about how many years we've lived in the same house when we had massive income, lived in the same house from 25 years ago and just upgraded it a little bit, did some landscaping, put in a pool, changed the paint, remodeled the kitchen. So many people don't think about getting themselves into a bind. They just make a quick decision. And I used to do this in my early 30s, early 20s, actually. And I ended up in a bankruptcy situation. Delayed gratification is so important, where you have no panic, no constant pressure about money. You actually have options, and you need to be thinking about, where can I invest that would actually grow so I could create generational wealth and be able to give and do and be, instead of have all the stuff, because the stuff isn't going to make you happy. Money is never going to create happiness. In fact, sometimes it just creates more stress, but money will create opportunities. So my favorite thing to do every night is sit on Zillow. And I always look for an opportunity to grow. I always look for an opportunity not to get. I could have bought the house next door. You guys saw me go on my little dream tour. It sold yesterday, cash buyer on 4th of July, $2.4 million. In my brain, I'm like, what do these people do? I think they actually own a construction company, and I think they own the house 2 doors down from it. So they probably bought it as an investment. I didn't buy it. It has the dream dock Dave wants. It had the dream boat that I want. It didn't have the view. You can't see the sunset. I would rather live in a modest house with no financial pressure and be able to watch the sunset with my family than live in a mansion where I don't have the view and I don't feel the same frequency that I feel when I watch the sunset from a house that doesn't strap me financially. Now, you might be different. Your values might be different, but financial freedom creates opportunity. That's all it does. And if you're smart and you live below your means, when the right opportunity does come, you won't have to say, I can't afford that. One of these days, you guys are going to see me say, okay, I've been smart, I've been frugal, I've been disciplined, but no more. I found what I want. And I want you to be dreaming like that. First, though, you got to know what you want. And then number 4, let's talk about your mental first. Number 3, let's go to mental freedom. Mental freedom where you get your peace of mind is no fear, no anxiety, no comparing yourself to other people, no limiting beliefs that sabotages every good thing that comes to you, no worrying about other people's opinions. I don't know how well you guys know me, but trust me, I don't care if you like me or not. I don't care if you like what I do for a living or not. I don't care what you think because I know who I am and I'm living with purpose on purpose. You know, I am all love all the time. I don't care about the mean people. I pray for them. It's not about me anyway. It's about them. And it's something that they got to work through. Everyone's on their own journey, but so many of you are worried about the haters, the mean people. Are people going to approve of what you do? What's their opinion going to be? Are they going to tell you you're crazy? I hope they do. Let them be the reason that you won't fail. Let them be the reason that you say, I'm going to make them not just eat their words, but choke on them, right? And you can stay humble. You don't have to go back and watch them choke on their words, but make sure they do. Because for you to let someone else steal your dream and you to play small based on other people's opinions is literally criminal. The true tragedy in life is not death. Brian Tracy says this. It's the people that are living this life and they've lost their dreams. They're just basically coexisting until they die. Don't do that. It's all between the ears. It's your mental freedom. That's number 3. So we did time freedom, number 1, financial freedom, number 2, mental freedom, number 3, and that takes work. Number 4, purpose freedom. Now, lately, this is all I talk about. This is my most important thing happening in my life right now. I want to ask all of you to imagine it's 5 years from now. Where are you at right now? Drop in the comments, where are you coming in from? And I want you to imagine 5 years from now, where do you live? I know what mine's going to look like. 5 years from now, I will have a bigger, nicer home on this lake or a lake where I host retreats for all the leaders in my company. It won't be a billionaire's mansion on Lake Texoma. It'll be mine on a lake, and I'll have plenty of room for everyone, their kids, their grandkids. We'll have lake days with Dave and Barb every first weekend of every month. It's going to be fire. I am building an empire, and I'm going to spend time with those people that lock arms with me. I know where I'm going to be 5 years from now. I'm also going to have a family compound with like 80 to 100 acres, 20 acres for each kid, a big center in the middle where we all come together, hunting, fishing, water, all the things that my kids grew up with in Kansas. I don't know where that's going to be. I'm looking for the land, but see, it's delayed gratification. I have to sacrifice today, short-term sacrifice to see 5 years from now. It's not get it now. It's where will you be in 5 years? And what will your morning look like? I hope you're doing this exercise with me. What will you do when you wake up in the morning? Because I know for me, I'll probably have a sunroom and I'll probably paint or read. I love to paint with oils. I just never have time for it. I will probably have a place where I can lay in a hammock and read in the shade, right? It won't be on the ocean because I don't love the ocean. It won't be in the mountains because I don't love the mountains, but it will be on water. And I will have a lot of land because I also don't like having neighbors. I love my neighbors. They're really cool, but I don't like to have to go out in the country and worry if I have my clothes on or not. I want to be able to go out, water my flowers. And when we moved here, one of the most important things was, I hope we have cool neighbors. Their grandkids play with our granddaughter. We see them down on the dock. But imagine being stuck, living in a neighborhood where you literally couldn't stand the people that you were around. That's not freedom. I know people right now in my daughter's neighborhood who, a lot of them love their neighbors and others of them are like, oh my gosh, I wish we didn't have this neighbor. You shouldn't have to live like that. You should be able to choose where you want to live, what you want to do, and who you want to be by. What does your morning look like? How many people have you helped in your life? That's a big one. And who is the person that you have become? Don't just dream about your possessions and your money. Dream about what you could do. When I think about going to the homeless shelter this week on Friday, first of all, I can't wait to get back to Kansas and get everything out of my closet. Roll up the jeans, put the sizes on them, all the shoes. Last month we ran out. We literally ran out. People didn't get shoes. People didn't get certain things. They were saying, can I get 2 of those? I think about teaming up with the Bucket Brigade and how Invisible Angels is going to make so much impact. That excites me. I don't dream about possessions. I dream about impact. Maybe you're different. Maybe you're like, I'll do that someday, but right now I just want to pay off my car. Everyone is at a different point in their life, but I think at my age, it's really intentional for me. No guts, no story. Write the vision, see the dream. One life-changing decision could make everything different for you. And I'm going to ask you to decide. Make one life-changing decision that you're going to make a move. You're not a tree. You see this tree behind me? It hasn't moved the whole time. But me, I can move. You're not a tree. You can move. You can make moves. You can do, you can be, you can have anything that you dream of. But you have to develop. You have to become a different version of yourself in order to get a different result. So you have to read. You have to learn. You have to grow. Maybe attend an event. You have to take action to grow in order to be. And number two, you have to do. You have to do it when it's imperfect, do it when it's messy, do it when you're scared, do it before you have the money, right? Motion creates momentum. And emotion, if this tugs at your heart, emotion is God getting you in motion. It's telling you. And the other thing I would say, you got to be able to duplicate what you're doing. Other people's time, other people's money. You have to be able to leverage. If you haven't read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you should. It's a great book. Leveraging so that you're not just stuck in a day-to-day grind. And duplicating, teaching other people how to have time freedom multiplies what you're going to have. Teaching other people to have financial freedom multiplies what you're going to have. Being able to give when the plate comes around at church. Or maybe it's not money. Maybe you give your time to Vacation Bible School. Or when we got off that honor flight ceremony, my Uncle Frank said, you know, I don't know that I would go on an honor flight, but I'm going to give my time. I'm going to come out here every time one of those plane lands. I'm going to help those veterans get in the wheelchair. I'm going to help them get on the plane. He's like, I will give every time there's an honor flight. I will never miss one. And he's got more money than anybody that I know. He will probably send some people on one too. It's $900 to send a veteran on an honor flight, and it's completely nonprofit. So right away, my cousins, his daughters were like getting their checkbooks out. They were like, this is so cool what our dad's got to do. I'm going to send someone. And right away, I was calling Dave's dad because how it made me feel. I want you to choose something that makes you feel good, that explains what freedom is to you. And I want to ask you, what's one decision that you could do today that your future self would be like, thank God I did that. Thank God I did that. When I think about the day we bought this house over the phone without seeing it, every time I think that, I'm like, thank God we did that. When you know that you know that you know, take action. And I want to close by saying this. I've made a lot of money. When we lost Dave's brother, I realized time freedom with the people that you love was way more important than the money. The money gives you choices, but being able to move Dave's mom back home, help her remodel their childhood home, take her on every trip we went on, be there when she needed us. She was literally with us every day, all day. And today is Dave's grandmother's birthday. She's passed on, but every 4th of July, we went to her house. She had a little farm acreage. Dave's mom would make everything red, white, and blue. The first year I was married to Dave, I made a white cake with Cool Whip on it, and I put strawberries and blueberries. I still remember it. We were on our way to Russell, Kansas. I had my little cake in the back. Brooklyn was about, 9 months old. And we were driving to Russell, and we got pulled over. And I hadn't had the money to pay for a speeding ticket. And we had no idea there was a warrant for Dave's arrest. And on the 4th of July, in our little town, this policeman said, you're going to have to come with me. I'm going to have to book you. Then you're going to have to pay the ticket. It was the first time I thought Dave and I were going to have a fight because he was on a construction crew all week. He didn't have freedom. I was home with a baby. We didn't have the money to pay the $79 ticket. And I realized freedom isn't free, right? That day when we did get to Dave's mom's and grandma's and we ate the cake that I made, the Cool Whip was melted. It wasn't that great of a day, but it was her birthday. And Dave's mom always made a chocolate sheet cake. She loved the fireworks, which I always think with every bottle rocket and every cannonball and everything that goes up, I'm like 10, 20, 30, 40, $100 gone, right? To me, it's like money blowing up in the air, but Dave loves it. And it brings him so much joy, and it brings him emotion and memories of amazing times with his brother. The last 4th of July that we spent with Dave's brother, we went out to his dad's house in the country, and there was a little rock house, and there was these glow sticks. And he took our kids down in this little rock house, and he poked holes in the glow sticks. And our kids were little, and he put strings on them, and he swung them around in a circle, and we all stood in the little rock house. This is something my daughter Brooklyn would do 100%. We swung glow stick juice all over everybody in the rock house, and we were all speckled with red, white, and blue glow sticks. And Dave's brother thought it was so funny. And it's such a good memory to me because I remember being in that rock house and just laughing with our kids. And that was the last 4th of July that we really spent with Scott. He passed away on July 23rd. And after that, it wasn't about money anymore. It really has always been about time freedom, making impact with people, mental health, helping people with their brain health, being with the people that you love, never putting a label on someone. I believe that our passion and our purpose stirred up with a lot of memories from 4th of July. And I will tell you, the part that I said about freedom not being free, it's not just about what your political views are and what the government or what the military has done. It's what you do mentally every single day. You keep yourself in a cage and you stop dreaming and you survive based on certain things that have happened. So my challenge to you is to break free. Freedom is to have everything that you desire. And freedom is having the ability to choose to dream again and be the person that God created you to be. So my final challenge for you before we end, and I'm ending early, I know everyone's going to be amazed. My final challenge for you, I ain't ended yet. Well, I'm waiting on you to come over here, Dave. It's 4th of July weekend. Celebrate with the people that you love and celebrate more than just political freedom. Celebrate that America is 250 years old, but celebrate that the life that you imagined is not reserved for somebody else to live. It's for you. It belongs to the person that's willing to dream again, that's willing to stand up and say, I'm going to take action, to become more than they are today, and to take courageous action every single day of their life. Because at the end of the day, it really is no guts, no story, no dream, no freedom. I hope all of you have a safe and happy 4th of July. I need to go jump on our corporate training call. So much to celebrate there, but I hope that today inspired you to stop sitting and staying complacent and to dream again and to know that even if you don't believe in yourself, I believe in you, and I believe that you can do and be and have more than you ever dreamt of. It's possible. No dream, no freedom, no guts, you're not going to have a story. I'll see you next week. If you got something out of today's broadcast, please hit the share button, tag a friend you know. It's completely free coaching every single Saturday, and I never miss a Saturday. So I'll see you next Saturday on No Guts, No Story. Happy 4th of July.